Hey, my name is Patrick, and today we're going to talk about this Honeywell Pressuretrol. This is a PA404A Pressuretrol, and we're going to talk about how to properly set it. So again, this is called the gray box for an obvious reason. So to set it, you have two dials, two adjustment points on this Pressuretrol. One of them here on the outside, and you set it via this screw, and the other is on the inside. And to get to this, you have to undo this screw. So let's undo really quickly. Okay. All right. So I'm sure if you have not watched the principle of operation and how those Pressuretrols are not particularly precise, and they are not often not correctly set straight out of factory, as in they are not calibrated. So just kind of like check that video in the description. So anyway, you have this spring right here, and this spring right here. And it shows that that adjusts the scale is being or it shows the scale is being adjusted via this screw. So screw in, screw out, and you control this level going up and down. As you can see, you have PSI, and then it starts at the 0.0 PSI and goes up all the way to 9. And then inside you have this circle right here, and it's called if you can read it right here, it's called differential, and it starts from 1 to, let's see, on this one to 5. So on this specific gray box Pressuretrol, what you're doing is you're taking the cadence scale, which on this one is set to around 0.5, and you add differential, let's say, to the minimum, which is in the minimum is 1. And that, so 1 plus 0.5, that's 1.5, and that indicates the high limit of the pressure at which point the boiler would shut down. So you take this number plus this number to know the high limit. Then differential basically, it tells you how much the pressure will drop, at which point the cut-in happens, which means the power cuts in again, allowing the boiler to run again. So this Pressuretrol is set to that it should drop to a 0.05 pressure, at which point the flow of electricity up to now was interrupted by this switch, is restored again, and the boiler starts again. So in other words, the boiler's pressure will raise up. Let me just show you this. This is like low pressure gauge. So you have so in other words, based on the setting, it's gonna build up pressure up to 1.5, and then at 1.5, again in theory, if that was properly calibrated Pressuretrol, it shuts down the boiler and allows the pressure to drop by the value of differential, which is 1. So from 1.5 to 1.5 minus 1 is 0.5. So at 0.5, which is this value right here, it should re-engage. You do not want to wait for your pressure to fall almost to the 0 part, because you might discover that yes, your Pressuretrol is working well enough to disconnect the power to the boiler, but then that spring tension never gets restored. So that means the power doesn't get turned on back to the boiler. So that means you kind of want to shut it down at certain value level, and then allow it to fall it enough so that you get rid of a lot of pressure in your boiler. At the same time, you don't go all the way to 0 for the kind of safety purpose. Why is that? Because you might discover that your boiler goes nicely all the way to, let's say, 1.5, let's say, if you set it as such, and then the boiler shuts down, and then the pressure falls. It goes all the way to 0, and you still do not hear the proverbial click, this click that restores the power back to the boiler, and that means you spend the whole night in a cold house. So those are two elements that adjust your Honeywell what's called PA404 Pressuretrol. This spring right here and this dial right here. All right, that's it. I hope that was helpful for somebody.